We spend a whole lifetime learning and growing, but if you know what to look for, you begin, it's just like it saves time. If you have a map, it saves time. I mean, you can run around the whole, state of Vermont looking for something if you don't know where it is.
Right.
Or you can have a map that tells you where to go.
Give an example of that, either in your own life or somebody you know, or of wanting to find a way, and the map helps.
Okay. There's sort of 3 different aspects of relationship, and some people carry a propensity for being positive and reframing things positively. Some people are really skilled in being objective and analytical, and some people are really gifted with an ability to feel emotionally real. And they each value that more than the other things. But what happens is it'll get them in trouble with other people. So, for instance, I meet somebody and I'm on a date, and I'm like, they don't understand me. I'm telling them how I feel, and they're just like saying all these like analytical things, and we're not connecting. But when they learn that these 3 things we're like, we tend to overuse one and insist that other people do too. Like, I need to know that you hear how I feel and that you feel this way too, and you feel that this is a big deal.
Yeah.
I'm going to sort of insist that you be emotionally real with me. But someone else may value objectivity more and doesn't like people who have hissy fits.
Yeah.
That's what they consider them.
Right.
So the minute they kind of get that that's their tendency, and that there are 2 other ways, or skilled ways to bring into their behavior. Is that making sense?
Yeah.
So that okay, I value being real and I invite you to be real, but let's also frame this positively. We're both on the same team, or we love each other and we're doing this project together, and we can be objective. Okay, what happened? So we can fix it. But usually the person who wants to like just be objective and fix it skips over what's pissing somebody else off emotionally. And one will just want to be objective, and the other will, wait, let's deal with what's pissing me off.
Right.
So if they can see that they do that and open the door for like addressing both concerns, it can change a relationship overnight.
And you've seen that?
Yes, I've seen it in my own. I mean, this is one of the teachings of this particular school of the Enneagram that I'm in. And like Paul and I used to have these particular kinds of issues, and and whatever it was, I'd rush to fix it, and he'd want to just frame it positively, like, what's the big deal? He's always sort of making a molehill out of a mountain, and I'm thinking but there is a problem here. And when we discovered that we needed to both go to how we felt about it and bring our feelings in, we stopped fighting. Pretty much forever. Each of the 9 types, there's 9 types in the Enneagram, sort of views the world through a particular lens, and they focus very much on one thing. So for one type, it's all about relationships. Everything I hear you say, I filter, and everything I say comes out of my desire to have relationship. Another one values kind of clarity and knowledge. Another one values uniqueness and depth and beauty, and another one values peace, and this type doesn't like conflict. Another one values strength but doesn't like vulnerability. Another one values joy and doesn't want to get into depressing things. Another one values awareness and support, and supporting people and being supported.
Yeah.
So they each focus on different things, and when they realize that how much that they focus on that to the exclusion of some other things, they can begin to cultivate the things that are less.
Is it hearing the other or cultivating the other's whatever's into their own?
Well, it's first of all seeing how what they do to them feels like the air they breathe. So, for instance, there's one type that's very direct. It's called the challenger. Very, very direct, very usually blunt, loves to be challenged and to challenge people, kind of to bring the best out of us. Well, yeah, just and but like I say, tends to be very sort of direct, and other people experience them as very blunt and scary, and they have no idea they're coming across that way.
Okay.
So when they begin to learn to observe their, because they love that. To them, it's like the air they breathe. Of course I want to be direct. Let's not beat around the bush. Let's get to the bottom line. Let's blah, 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 and here's the plan.
Yeah.
You know, and they love to be in charge.
Right, right.
So it's my way or the highway. We're going to do it this way. But when they begin to look at this behavior in themselves,
Yeah.
they see it. And they begin to also see the impact on other people if they're looking for it. Because a lot of people find this kind of type can be abusive. Experience it as abusive.
Right.
The type doesn't mean it that way.
Right, right.
You know, and I've known a woman, she said, I learned after, years and years that all of my family was afraid of me, for instance. So it's just sort of knowing what to look at. They valued being strong, but what they didn't realize was the minute they identify with being strong, then they can't be vulnerable. And when they can't be vulnerable,
Yeah.
Okay, see what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, huh.
Yeah.
And is there any idea of sort of where these come from? Do you look for the source, or do you just look for how it's enacted and then reenacted?
Both. In the teachings of the Enneagram, everybody, as far as I know, believes that we come in already with our type. We're sort of born into this world with our type, which means that we already begin to filter experience through it. So you know how your children, some are more sensitive to justice and injustice, some are more relationship oriented, some are more like all about feelings. I mean, if they're feeling bad, you're not going to just say, oh, that's okay, let's go do this, until you deal with their feelings,
Okay.
But another one is like, mommy, hug me, mommy, hug me. It's all about hugs and relationship and loving and helping.
Okay.
And another child is more like the kind to be alone in their room and studying and loving that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay.
So we come in born with it, but because we do, and because we identify with certain things in the personality, we then have to cope. So if I begin to think that strength is what's important and I can't be vulnerable, my coping strategy for life becomes to make sure nobody takes advantage of me, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
So I get a whole coping strategy around it, and that's what boxes me in usually.
So every type has strengths and also the corresponding weaknesses, or whatever you want to call them, vulnerabilities.
Yeah.
And then, okay.
Yeah, usually it's just overdo. Like, it's fine, say, to want to do the right thing. One of them is really geared toward perfection and right action. This is your Gandhis of the world who want to reform the world, Al Gore, who want to make the world better. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with them. That's when it's a gift. It's the overuse of that strategy when not only do we need to do the right thing, but I know what the right thing is, and I'm righter than you, and we all should do the right thing. And when you overdo it, you begin to get yourself in trouble. When you overdo your strategy. Like being safe. There's 3 types who really are into being safe. There's nothing wrong with that and protecting yourself from, possible threat or whatever, until you're so doing that you're fearful of everything. And then it limits what you can experience.